Let me rephrase this to you. Who is in your eyes, if there is going to be that Otega-Oweh breakout candidate here, maybe not right this minute, but as we inch closer toward the regular season, who is the guy that becomes that difference maker if it's not an outside addition?
Yeah, I was literally just racking my brain thinking of that, like looking down up and down the roster. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a Jerome Morton or a Justin McBride because those guys are kind of already established at this point. They weren't exactly like Otega at least was like a top 75 recruit. Like, well, actually, I think Justin McBride was pretty highly ranked too, but he's kind of who he is at this point. Like Otega showed incremental growth at Oklahoma and then really took the leap here. So I don't think it's going to be one of those. Like, I think your options are Braden Hawthorne, Cam Williams, Trent Noah, who can still, like, we're doing this again with Trent Noah for the third straight year. And honestly, I have no doubt that everything they're saying is true behind the scenes. Like, I think we saw with Trent last year, I think some of it is just in between the years. Like, he had the whole month where he just didn't make a 3-pointer. Like, I think some of it was he just wasn't as confident as he needs to be. By his own words, he is the most confident he's ever been. So we'll see if that actually translates, and maybe having a more clearly defined role as like a guard, as opposed to trying to be this like small ball 4 or like small ball 3 that he kind of was playing. Like, maybe that helps him a little bit. You got Trent Noah, Njai, Mason Williams, and Braden Hawthorne, Cam Williams. I think of the group of guys that like I would really like to see have that Otega breakout, I think it's got to be Njai, because you're kind of already plugging him in as a guy that's going to play minutes, whether or not he starts at the 4 or shares minutes with McBride at the 4 or comes off the bench behind McBride at the 4. If he can turn into that guy and really break out and be a guy that is just running up and down the floor like a deer, dunking everything, shooting fadeaway 35-footers that they're going in. Like, if he can be that guy that, if he can be the highlight version of himself that we see on the mixtapes, I think that completely changes everything for Kentucky. Braden Hawthorne, like, I don't know. He didn't play all last season. There was a reason he didn't play. He wasn't hurt for most of it, at least. I think maybe he had like a small minor something throughout the season or whatever, but everybody did on that team. I have my doubts that all of a sudden he's just going to turn into this, Otega style level player. Like, Njai's a little bit older, so maybe he's just kind of what he is at this point. Maybe a transition to college is exactly what he needs to unleash everything. I think Cam Williams, like, I'm just not sure I don't think Cam Williams has a leap like that in him. I think Cam Williams is just going to get slowly better and better as his career goes along. I don't know if he has a major jump in him just because he's not like a super athlete like Otega is. And now he's dealing with this whole foot injury. Like, that's obviously becoming a thing that he's going to have to try and overcome. But I mean, Mason Williams, man, like, I keep coming back to this kid. It sounds like we did a whole Zoom action on him last week, self-plug there with Brandon and Steven. And man, that kid is good. Pope said he has a college-ready body. He's not lying. The kid is built he's built like Jalen Brunson. Like, that's the size that he is, like a 6'2", 6'3", 210-pound, just kind of like bully guard. Obviously not the same player in any regard at all. So I do think with Mason Williams, you can kind of insulate that as a potential. Like, you can make that. You can rely on him to play minutes. I genuinely believe that. So I don't know how much it'll be and all that stuff, but I think it needs to be Njai to be your breakout guy, because then you can have a real 4. Then you've got 5 guys at your 5 starters are all going to be guys that are good in Zoom, Alex, Milan, Malachi, and then if you put Uzi there, which I do love, there's going to be some fun potential rough arena for
I
Uzi.
asked Trent that. I was like, so what have you seen from Uzi? I'm like, that sounds ridiculous for me to say.
Yeah,
like,
I can't
I'm a
say
29-year-old.
You're 29-year-old now. Yeah,
I can't.
But you were
say,
28.
Like,
you could say it then.
The big ooze. How's the big ooze come? I'm like, stop. His name is Uzman. You can call him Uzi. My fault. I'm the old head unk. You guys. Yeah. You guys call him. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeesh. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but if he's the guy, I do think it can change Kentucky's the trajectory of the season. Braden Hawthorne, I think, will just be like kind of if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't happen, I don't think it changes much with Kentucky's roster. But like, if Njai's not good, that would be like an issue. Like, that would be bad, because then you're kind of a little bit drier maybe at the 4, especially if Cam Williams, the injury kind of continues to linger and stuff like that. It would be a little bit more difficult to kind of replace that. Whereas with Braden, if Braden's not good, you've still got all these other guys that are there, and we're just planning on playing anyways. So Braden would be like kind of like the cherry on top, whereas Usman, I think, can really, really change the trajectory of the season if he ends up, reaching the potential that we think he can.
I heard Usman had his best week of practice as a Wildcat last week, but he was pretty darn good. So his issue has been like he just knockdown shooter in individual workouts. Like he'll go in and he was talking about Alex Wilkins hitting 79% of his 100 three-point attempts. In those drills and just set shots of in individual like coaching work, workouts or whatever, like he just makes everything just knockdown shooter of all knockdown shooters. But then once like we actually get to 5-on-5 scrimmage portions of these workouts and practices, he just disappears. Like he's doesn't make mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't play poorly, but also does nothing to stand out. Like he's just like, oh, I kind of forgot that he was even on the floor. This week was the first time that it ever kind of transitioned into, maybe he can do this. Maybe this is what it looks like. And it was kind of that mini breakthrough moment for him. So,
Sweet.
Yeah. So, but feeling good about that. And I think it's just the pause with Braden isn't, I just don't want to set an expectation with Braden that he's going to come in and be like, I don't think the Tayshaun 2.0 stuff did him any favors going into the year. But that's also not ruling out somebody that has never played a minute of college basketball, was a late bloomer in high school, that does have all the potential and tools in the world to become that player, can't become that player by October, November. Totally possible. Like there is a very real chance that he is the breakout candidate. And we're all looking stupid that he wasn't the guy, all along. But I also don't want fans to set an expectation of Braden's the guy, Braden's the superstar. You should expect him to be Tayshaun 2.0. And then when the games start and have him underwhelm and then attack the kid unnecessarily down the road because somebody else set an unrealistic expectation for him. Set the expectation low and say, he's coming along. It's a process. He's not there yet, but he can get there. I think is the appropriate way of handling it. I just don't think it's fair to the kid to, I think last year it was a learning lesson for me to not just buy into the excitement and hope of the offseason and say Final Four or bust, championship, because it only sets us up for disappointment down the road if they're not that. So I just want to like read through things, the highs and lows, like the Trent Noah stuff right now. I can look at that and say, if we're viewing it through a lens of, hey, for 10 minutes a game, 10 to 12 minutes a game, Trent Noah is really, really impactful in his very specific niche role, I'm cool with it. Like that should be how we're taking all of this scoop and intel and what Pope is saying is the best player. But like, we shouldn't be taking that and saying, oh, he's going to be starting and playing 35 minutes a game and averaging 20 points a game. Like having a little bit better, just managing expectations a little bit better, I think is the fair way of handling this.